So I think with Marcus Hill, it's really important to point out that he really touched on three topics. Two of those topics kind of go hand in hand, which is anxiety and confidence. I think when it comes to anxiety, kind of goes based off the first directive of public speaking, where you can't just suppress your anxiety and make it go away. You kind of have to use it as your fuel and use it as your fire and really address the concern, because by avoiding it, you can actually make things worse. Um, and so, one way to do that is using positive refrain, which is what he did. And so, what I really liked about Marcus Hill was that he ended up using a goal in mind instead of using a phrase or some sort of positive affirmation. So instead of saying, I can do it, he said gold. And I think that's really important to note because a lot of the times, we have insecurities, we're human, we find flaws in ourselves, we're our worst critic, and it's not always easy to find something positive to say about yourself. But if you have a goal in mind and you have something that you really want to work towards and you think you can really get to, if you constantly tell yourself the goal or how you're going to get to the goal or what the goal is, then I think that was a really great way that Marcus did it. I think with confidence, it's not only how you do it, but it's also what you're trying to do. And I think that he really touched on that, and that's really great. Another thing that I really liked was he also touched on the third directive, I believe it's the third, of preparation. Being prepared can really make or break a speech. I think with preparation, you need to not only make a speech in advance, but you also need to practice. I heard a quote a long, long time ago. I can't exactly remember when, but it was talking about success with failure and activities and just things like that. And the quote was, don't practice something until you can get it, practice until you can't get it wrong. And I think that's really important because, when I used to practice for math, or I used to practice a dive for swim because I was a swimmer, I would always do it until I got it right, and I would never do it again. But that's not really a great way to practice something. I think once you practice something until you can't get it wrong, and you do it 5, 10, 15, 20 times consecutively without doing it incorrectly, I think that's a great way to prepare for something because it almost gives you that confidence that you know you can't do it wrong. And if you know you can't do it wrong, you're probably not going to get it wrong in the first place.